Well, good morning. I'm here from the VMware Open Source Program Office, and I'm here with Darren Hart, who is our Senior Director of VMware's Open Source Technology Center. He's going to be talking to us for a few minutes about his landscape architecture passions and how he used open source software to help him bridge the gap. Welcome, Darren.
Thanks, Rhonda. So outside of my system software background and working at VMware in the Open Source Technology Center, I'm an avid design hobbyist, and I really enjoy architecture as well as landscape architecture. And the process has evolved for me in just trying to visualize work that we're doing in our own yard. I'm sharing a picture of one of my most recent renderings, which is can't tell via video, but is a 3D stereoscopic 360-degree view of a landscape architecture project. And one of the things that makes these projects so to capture the volume and the space that you're working in is good vegetation models. And I've been working with a proprietary package in modeling these scenes, and as well as a proprietary plant kit from a company called LobWork. And as I made these models more and more realistic, they became more complex, but I also needed more and more ability to scale. And I was finding that I was hitting the limits of these tools. And I wanted to work with something that I could extend myself and improve myself as needed. And so I wanted to move to a full open source stack. And I started by experimenting with Blender. There were a number of gaps in order to be able to continue my workflow with Blender. And one of those key ones was I need to be able to use these tree assets that I've acquired from LobWork. Fortunately, LobWork provides an SDK, and I was able to, in collaboration with LobWork, open a project, a Python project that I could interact with that SDK as well as the APIs of the Blender engine, and was able to relatively quickly put together a add-on for Blender that supports the LobWork format, which brings in the multiple levels of detail in the geometry, as well as the physical-based textures that they provide, and create proxies and detailed models, as well as 360-degree views. This is a project that I work closely with the LobWork folks on, and found the Blender community as well to be really open and supportive in figuring out how to best do things in a new space. It was a really enjoyable process. It's ongoing. I'm currently working with LobWork as they work towards the release of their Python 3 SDK, at which point this will be readily consumable for all. In the meantime, it's available for code review and examples of pictures that it can do. And it's been a really enjoyable process, and it's also incredible the amount of performance increase that I was able to achieve moving to Blender from the prior tools. So far it's been a win-win.
Excellent. And then, so if someone else wants to lean in and do some code reviews or some additions, where will they find some of this code?
This is all available on GitHub, currently under a temporary uncreative name, LBWBL, on my own GitHub page. And the code is all available. It can be installed and run, but it won't be able to import plants themselves until that SDK is released by LobWork, which is in the making.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sharing with that today. Thank you, Darren.
Thank you.